Those Knicks overcame an off-shooting night from Jalen Brunson to take down the Lakers 112-100 for their sixth straight win. LeBron James, who has historically dominated at the Garden, finished with 22 points in what could have been maybe his final game in New York. Here's LeBron on what playing at MSG has meant to him over the years.
Playing at Madison Square Garden meant to you throughout your career?
Everything. I mean, it's the mecca of basketball here in New York City. Obviously, it's the Big Apple. You know, being here at MSG, playing here. You know, it's so many guys have walked this court. You know, either from basketball to entertainment to actors and musicians. I mean, everything.
Just 1 year ago, after midnight Eastern, I was on the SportsCenter desk on February 2nd.
Oh, yeah.
The Mavericks traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Since the trade, Doncic has averaged 31.4 points per game in the regular season with the Lakers, which is the second most in the NBA, behind only the reigning MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and his 8.3 assists per game are also the seventh most. So now we reflect 1 year after the Luka trade. S.A., where do you think the Lakers are now?
They're not in a good position because they're average. They're not awful and they're not great. They have a great one in him. LeBron is still great. Austin Reeves has elevated his level of play, but durability has been an issue because he's been injured. And if you remember, at the height of Luka Doncic's success as a Dallas Maverick, he had Jalen Brunson as a sidekick. Then he had Kyrie Irving. And now he wishes he had Austin Reeves because if they're on the court together, they can make big things happen. In the 80 games that he's been a Los Angeles Laker, 51 of them have been with LeBron James. They're 32-19 when they play together. Obviously, they've won 60% of their games when he's on the court, but that doesn't make you better than OKC, Denver, one would argue Houston, Minnesota, and San Antonio. And so you're basically looking at a Los Angeles Lakers team that's good enough for the play-in, potentially good enough for a first-round playoff berth, but going home thereafter. And that's not what you want to hear when it comes to purple and gold. So that's the situation right now. They could trade a first and a second-round pick. Their mid-tier players ain't drawing much interest. We know this. You need your secondary option on the floor, and Austin Reeves, obviously. You don't want to have to depend on the 41-year-old LeBron James to do it for you. He's already doing more than he should have to do, but you don't want to have to depend on that. So all of those things come into play. And then watching against the Knicks, I think it was emblematic of what we've been complaining about with the Los Angeles Lakers. First of all, against the New York Knicks, you shot 12 for 42 from three-point range. I mean, and I'm talking about open threes. And that's how we know it's not coaching. Because we see the Los Angeles Lakers getting open shots. They just don't make them. 12 of 42 from three-point range, and that's normal. And let's not get started with them defensively. Defensive efficiency, 25th. Field goal percentage defense, 27th. Field goal percentage three-point shooting, 26th. Blocks per game, 29th. Contested shots per game, 29th. How the hell are you ranking bottom three in bottom two in contested shots? That means you're nowhere in the vicinity when people are getting shots. How the hell does that happen? It's a lack of effort, and in some cases a lack of talent. So they're middle of the road, which is a disastrous position for them to be in. And I think that's what the issue is right now. You don't want to be middle of the road. You want to be great, or you want to suck. And the Lakers are neither. They're in the middle, and I think that's the problem.
So the one thing about where they are middle of the road, and as you reflect on the trade from last year, if you will, is that trade got them a guy for the future. So I agree with you, S.A. They're middle of the road. There's a bunch of metrics that say their defense is terrible. Yes, they've been pretty good in the clutch time, but they've also been blown out by 20 at like 7 different times. Mm-hmm. So I get you. But the one thing they do have is a guy that you can be confident about moving forward. So if I had to assess the trade, they still have won the trade moving forward because Luka Doncic is, to me, still in his prime and has more prime to go.
Eminem, before Wendy chimes in, it's not assessing the trade. It's assessing the Lakers when you're after the trade.
No, that's what I'm saying. You got it.
It's two different things. Right. It's like the trade. Clearly, they won the trade. Anthony Davis ain't even available. Yeah. Clearly, they won the trade. It's a great thing. It's just that the Lakers looking at him is like,
Right. Yeah. Because it's like contender or not. The answer is not. So now we zoom out, and at least they got a guy moving forward.
The reality is that the Lakers' Luka Doncic era will start next year. Okay, because they really haven't taken the steps necessary or that they're able to to put the proper pieces around him. This is not a mystery. We saw exactly what the Dallas Mavericks did that created a finals team. They put perimeter defenders around to protect Luka for defense, and they went all out to get roll big men who could roll to the basket off Luka's of screens and then also defend the rim. They got slapped with a tanking fine because they wanted to make sure that they got a first-round pick that they used on Derek Lively, who was a perfect role big man for him. And then they went out and made aggressive trades at the deadline that finals year to get Daniel Gafford. The Lakers have not done that. They did it briefly when they went out and got Mark Williams, and then they rescinded the trade last year. I mean, if you look at Mark Williams and DeAndre Ayton, Mark Williams has 20 more dunks this year than DeAndre Ayton does. I mean, he's a better role man. So the Lakers are going to have to invest in that lineup around Luka. They haven't invested in the perimeter defenders, and that's because they are paying LeBron James $50 million this year. They're going to have to reallocate their team, and they're in position to do so because this summer they're going to have potentially $100 million in salary cap space, and they're going to go from 1 first-round pick that they can trade to 3. And so then they can re-enter the market with that space, which they can use a number of different ways. And next year, the team that you see deployed on the court with Luka, I think will have a big man who fits that criteria and guys alongside him that will defend. I believe that will include Austin Reeves, not as a defender, but as a shared ball handler. And it could include LeBron James. It's just not going to include him at $50 million if they're going to build around him. So the fact that he extended his contract at age 26 and he's invested in the Lakers long term, that gives them the runway to just do what they can this year and then truly pivot this summer.
Okay. Lakers right now 5-5 in their last 10 games, which I guess would be the definition right now of middle of the road, quite literally over the last month or so. Brian Windhorst, you were a part of that conversation with Doc. Do you think Giannis will be traded by Thursday?
I think I'm, slightly 50-50, 51-49 that he will not be traded. And it's not because the Bucks aren't having conversations, and it's not because Giannis has an undying desire to be in Milwaukee, although he could be making a lot more noise if he wanted. But it's because with the way the market is, it probably, and I'm going to underline the word probably, it makes more sense for the Bucks to wait. There could be a change in the aggression of one of these teams who's bidding. There could be a player that becomes available in the talks that changes Milwaukee's opinion. But I think that there's a good chance that they're going to have the same level of trade offers in the summer, and maybe even better in the summer. And they're going to have way more information in the summer, particularly where their draft pick is, where the draft picks of the other teams making offers are, all of those things. Not only that, some of the teams can offer just more draft picks in the summer than they can now. The important thing that Doc said yesterday, and what I asked him, is what's the plan for Giannis if he's not traded? Because this is as Stephen A. mentioned earlier, this is the 4th calf injury that he has had in the last 2.5 seasons. And that is a concern. And frankly, the Bucks are 3-14 when he doesn't play, and they are highly incentivized to continue losing, quite frankly, because by the time he might come back in 3 or 4 weeks, gosh knows what their record is going to be. And what Doc said is he's going to play. And Doc has to say that for a lot of reasons, but I wonder if we've seen, if Giannis doesn't get traded, I wonder if we've seen the last of him this season either way.
Monica?
Ooh. I mean, Wendy, if he doesn't get traded, it does not benefit either side for him to keep playing, right?
Absolutely not. I mean, it's easy for me or for you to say, but yes, I believe that.
Yeah. I agree. If the thing to me that is the sticking point, Shay, is by all accounts, Giannis wants to be the good guy, even though he acknowledges it is probably time to move on. If that's the case, then he would wait till the summer when it could probably be the best offer in terms of him getting where he probably wants to be and the Bucks can get the most in return. I don't see this as a Jimmy Butler, I got to move now. I don't see that happening. So
you think it won't happen either until the summer? You don't think it's going to happen by Thursday either? What do you think, S.A.?
Well, you know what it is? I think right now it won't happen. The reason I feel that way is because I think that it would happen if he were healthy and playing and wanted out. But the fact that he's not healthy and he is out, that gives a lot of teams cause to pause because you're going to have to give up a lot in order to get him. Whether it's in the realm of picks or some blue chip players or whatever, you're going to have to give up something to get Giannis. And you want to make sure that he'll be available for you. And so that's the real situation right now. It's two extremes. A Golden State Warriors team in possession of their next 7 first-round picks. You understand? They've got assets to move. The Minnesota Timberwolves, you don't have any first-round picks, okay? But you do have players like Nas Reed, Julius Randle, Jaden Daniels, McDaniels, that kind of stuff like that. So it depends on what Milwaukee wants or whatever. It may take them some time to make that decision, and they may feel they bought themselves some time because you don't have a healthy, disgruntled superstar saying, get me the hell up out of here. Instead, you have a disabled superstar right now who, even if he doesn't get moved, may be sitting at home for the rest of the season so he can afford to sit up there and say, take your time. That's the situation that's going on in Milwaukee right now. So I think I would say it's not impossible, but it's more unlikely than likely that he'll be moved before the trading deadline because there's no urgency right now with him and his calf injuries and the inability to be on the court because you want to make sure you safeguard him at all costs so you don't find yourself in a position where he gets injured and then you can't do anything with him or for him. You don't want that problem.
Yeah, see the Bucks are the yeah, go ahead, Shay.
Really, Windy, and maybe you could speak to this, and maybe this is what you were going to say. And yesterday, in listening to Nisham's reporting, this was last night, him saying that the Bucks have now countered offers. I'm not saying that there's one set in stone, but they're starting to counter offers, which feels like maybe it's a little further along than we had thought a week ago. Do you agree with that, or you still think that's just going back and forth?
I think that's true, but I think here's the thing. The reason the Bucks have, it'd be one thing, as Stephen A. said, if Giannis was holding the steering wheel here and saying, I want out now, and I want to be on Team X. Trade me to Team X today. He's not doing that. He is taking a generally, not wholly, but generally passive role here in this. So that's one thing. The second thing is when you look at what the offers are. Now, there could be an offer. There probably is an offer that we don't know about that includes a player that Milwaukee has to seriously take or a pick where Milwaukee's like, we have to do this deal today or we may not be able to do it. But if you look at the teams that are bidding that we know about, if you look at Golden State, their offer in May is going to be the same offer. Now, they may say it's not. They may say it's here and it's gone, but their offer is going to be the same offer. It's not probably going to improve. Whereas the other teams who are in this, their offers can improve. For example, Miami can trade 2 more first-round picks in June than they can today. This is true for several other teams. For example, the Lakers. Right now, you wouldn't put the Lakers in the bidding for Giannis, okay? But if you get to the summer and they've got $100 million in cap space, and instead of trading 1 first-round pick, they can trade 3, now we have a completely different situation. Not only that, but by then we'll know the lottery. We'll know the players that are in the lottery. The Bucks will know where their pick is. The Bucks will know where everybody else's pick is. So if the offers are probably not going to worsen by the spring, and the offers are only going to get better, and you may have more information, and you're not, Giannis is hurt anyway, and he's not agitating at full power, you do not have to be a next-level logician or analyst to figure out that waiting makes sense, unless the Bucks get an offer by Thursday where they're like, whoa, this offer is so strong, it may not be there in June. Let's reevaluate. And that could happen, but the indications are that time might make more sense.
Did you say logician?
Whatever.
I was just like, is this a new word? I need to learn the new word. If that's what you said, Wendy. I got you.
It would take logician, okay, according to Wendy, to find Giannis a home in the next 48, however many hours until Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. All right.